Hello, everyone. Welcome back to your weekly astrological forecast. We're going from October 28th. We'll get through Halloween and we'll end the week on November 3rd, right before the election. So, anyway, you can imagine what a packed week it is without me telling you about the astrology, but I will tell you the astrology is really intense. There's so much going on. Lots of aspects from Mars and Venus and Mercury, and then Mercury moves into Sag on Saturday, and Sunday Mars will move into Leo. So tons of energy coming through there. And the moon will go through the phases. She's going to go through Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, and end the week in Sag. So, anyway, let me just bring you over my table and we'll go through it one day at a time as always. Hold on. Okay, so before I dive into Monday's chart with all of these aspects, I wanted to say I forgot. I got so wrapped up in all the aspects that I forgot to say that we have the new moon in Scorpio coming in on Friday morning. So today's an excellent day to start, all of our manifesting intentions for this next whole month. Yeah. So anyway, Scorpio can be really good for manifesting, for going deeper and getting inside of anything that has been blocking your manifesting abilities, or sometimes just for the need to dig our heels in and hunker down and not give up. Scorpio's a sign that's very, very, like Cancer too. Both signs are very tenacious, I would say. So, okay, when it comes to, and another thing I wanted to say, I remembered yesterday, and I wanted to put this out there for you guys too, if you're like me. This is the perfect time of the year to order your calendars. I'm going to give you a reminder to order your calendars for next year, of course. Yeah. Let's see, is there anything else? No more housekeeping. Okay, so we have a lot of aspects here, but what I really want to focus in on right away, just in case you have to break away and go do some other things and then come back and listen later. For Monday morning, 5:30 a.m., we have this yod going on in here from Mercury. So we have two inconjuncts, quincunxes. And one corner's coming from Mercury in Scorpio. So thinking deeply, digging in, getting to the truth, hopefully, that transition of looking for the truth. It's good for research. It's really good for refining and trying to bring in more harmony, even though it might bring some conflict to get there. You don't mind, it's like doing that deeper work. But again, just bringing in more opportunity, sometimes defining in a new way, what you could do to bring in more opportunities, like figuring out something that was there all along, but you just couldn't see it because it wasn't the perfect time. Now, with Mercury at that 22 degrees of in the third decan of the sign, this is something either going much deeper and getting to the truth, if that's what you want, the truth for transformation, or it's something that is coming up the other side like the phoenix rising out of the ashes, something that's blossoming and blooming. And Mercury rules, of course, the way we think, but also the way we find patterns and, make all those different connections. And Mercury rules the vote. Mercury rules the news that's coming in. And because it's election season, we could say, so close to the election, we could say that it would be new news about the votes. That's coming out all the time. You don't need me to tell you that. But, the astrology, it's always right there. You gotta love astrology, right? Scorpio is also, Mercury is also about the way we communicate. So in Scorpio, we need to be careful with our words. We need to not get into arguments. Just stick with who you are and what you're doing and what you stand for, and that's more than enough. Be careful about, because, if somebody's on that other side at this point, unless they're trying to make the decision and they're really confused, then just back off, because they're probably going to be super crazy and could be dangerous. So warnings about that, okay? But with the what do we call it? Quincunx coming down here, it's connected to Eris. And this is why I say be careful, because all of this, so it's the moon in Virgo, Mercury in Scorpio. Mercury rules Virgo. And there we are with that. And again, 22 degrees, it's blooming. Something's blooming out there. We have all the facts, the opportunity to get all the facts. And then it all points to this courageous, very, very courageous point of view. And then there's also the quincunx coming over to within orb to Chiron. So with Eris, there's that courage of fighting for women, okay, fighting for the divine feminine, and she's not taking it anymore. With Chiron conjunct and also with the quincunx going over to the moon, there's this adjustment that's coming from the facts that are coming out, and we know that it's all about survival of women as a species, right? Or as an equal cohabitator of the planet. And so this is what's on the table early this morning. Now, also, we can see how Mars is opposing Pluto. This will be going on for the rest of the week. It will be waning next week, but it's still going to be within orb, even when it moves into Leo, which will happen later this week. But the opposition, man, this is the approaching, right? See how we still have, just about 2 degrees there. The deal there is that Mars in Cancer really wants to protect something, and that something in Cancer has to do with our home base and our family, and how can we stay safe for the future. So it's the same thing as last week. We had this going on last week, and it's just getting tighter. Last week, I think it started around 24 degrees, so now we're at 27, tighter orb, so that means more intense, because remember, up here, so Mars is activating this opposition, right? And Pluto, meanwhile, is sitting there at 29 degrees, that anaretic degree, which means intensity. And we're talking about people that have control over the masses. We can put the darkness and corruption of Scrotus in here. We can put the lies to get ahead up here. We can put J.D. Vance and Donald Trump here. We can put all the misinformation that trying to be useful, like why are they lying? What's all that about? We can put Project 2025 right in here. And then, so bottom line, Mars is over here going, hey, wait a minute. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants the majority of people who've been interviewed, and there have been thousands about Project 25, they don't want anything to do with it. So there we go with that opposition. And you know how I always say oppositions are confrontations. Is this what you want? There's something over here presenting an opportunity. Is this what you want? Or if you've been over here on the Trump side going, well, wait a minute, now I know what I know, because you're tuned into Mars over here, then breakthroughs can happen. The confrontation, the conflict can lead to a breakthrough, which is a beautiful thing. But mostly oppositions are, exchanges of conversations and encounters with other people. Sometimes it's something being offered, like we could say Kamala is over here thinking with integrity and has a plan. That's very Capricornian. Has a plan, and it has to do with home buyers. It has to do with family. It has to do with women. It has to do with fighting for family, women, safety, security, all of that. And definitely, at some point, it leads to, well, we have more awareness now, and I think all I can say is the possibility, the opportunity is there for more awareness, and then the breakthrough and some type of balance restored as it moves forward. So this is all perfect right before the election. Okay, so these aspects are waning from last week. You know what I'll do? Well, let me just talk about this real quick. It's for the weekly overview. This sextile has been going on for quite some time. The Neptune sextile Pluto. So again, we're talking that ability to, and we do have that exact trine with the Mars-Neptune. And then the trine up here that's waning up to Mercury. But this trine here, this fast flow of awareness when it comes to safety, security, home, and then intuitive. Cancer's a pretty intuitive sign, especially when you tune in to what's really going on. It's very sensitive. So is Pisces, and Neptune in Pisces. Neptune can be either very sensitive or numbed out. It all depends on the person. It does help to sensitize a person, though. Pisces is super sensitive or, numbed out and diluted. It all just depends. So this, even though trines are usually harmonious, they're also just fast food. Did I say food? Fast food. Yeah, that's what this is Trump. We're all still laughing and talking about. Sorry, spitting on my laptop here or iPad. This is say food, and there it goes. Mars, Cancer, food. And what does Trump do? He totally stages that whole McDonald's thing. I mean, those were all his people filming. They took over. Those weren't even real workers there. And they weren't real people that came to the drive-through window either, That was all staged. So we see the truth in that, but check it out. I mean, it's right here, that opportunity to go through fast food, excuse me, and the delusion, Neptune ruling the delusion, Pisces, just to victimize people, right? And all because he would never do that, except for the fact that Kamala used to work at McDonald's, and, we all know that. We can all see through all of that. But so anyway, this is going to be talked about a lot, even still. I mean, this is the Thursday before. I think it happened either Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe Tuesday. I can't remember. But anyway, I think we're still going to be talking about it on Monday. Maybe a lot more will be out on the news over the weekend, and more people will see about it, or will have seen it. I'm sure the message will be out there that speaks to the fact that it was all staged. There was also some other, where do I have, I thought I had a note. Oh, what did I do with that? I have it somewhere. It had to do with Trump. No, that's not that. It had to do, I think somebody came out about a sexual situation. Yeah, I don't have those notes in here. What the heck did I do with them? Okay, that's all right. I'll let that go. But yeah, anyway, more things are coming out. The news is revealing more and more, and Scorpio could definitely, actually, the whole Uranus Scorpio polarity can, excuse me, can be all about sexual issues, scandals, right? And notice how Mercury is moving, and it moves pretty quickly too. It's moving towards an exact opposition with Uranus, right? After we've had this opposition to Pluto, from Mars to Pluto. So there you go. Mars in Cancer also, that has to do with women and the past. So there are so many possibilities as to more coming out. Talk about, October surprises, multiple surprises. Okay, so the sextile coming from Neptune to Pluto has been there, and it will remain for some time. And then we also have Uranus. Now it's retrograde. When it goes direct, then that will be in range again. So opportunities, right, are sextile territory. And you can see, if you look underneath here, can you see the kite pointing down to the moon? The moon is holding the rudder, right? So the tail of the kite, the moon rules the women. In Virgo, we're all thinking about women's health. We're thinking about divine order, right? Women, well, actually, no one on the planet likes to not be valued. And no one likes to just feel like they're being sucked down into chaos, which is what the world would be like if women are just chattel. And that's Project 2025. That's Kevin Roberts, J.D. Vance. That's all of that, right? So with the tail of the kite guiding, we can say that, because remember, the luminaries, the sun and the moon will shine a light on something, but the moon will illuminate it as well. And here we are with more facts coming out. The moon rules the public. And one leg of the kite, or one side of the kite, is over here to Uranus, connecting that side that says, something shocking, and about women, probably. So I wouldn't be surprised if something comes out. The opportunity here, coming from the top portion of the kite, is pointing to Neptune, which is the opportunity to get out of victim consciousness, get out of victimhood, and know that for the most part, our beliefs create our reality. Based on our beliefs, we do create our own reality best we can. But if we're looking at the truth, here's Jupiter down here in Gemini saying, especially just now in that third decan of Gemini, saying, have you not learned yet that the Republican Party doesn't care about women or minorities or any person of color? They only care about themselves, and so that they can have control. Otherwise, why would they be gerrymandering the hell out of all these different counties all over the states? And why would they, to make it to the point where you could run as a Democrat, but you can't. There's no way you could win, right? So there's that. On top of the information that's been out there for a long time, this whole little sojourn, Jupiter stays in one sign for a year. We've had a good 6, 7, 8 months. It's retrograde now, but it's been in Gemini for long enough for us to have learned some deeper lessons, right? The information's there. If people don't understand what's really going on or don't know, it's because they didn't want to look. Or, I don't know, maybe they don't read. And the only news they get is on Fox News. There's that possibility. Or they get conspiracy, stuff, or maybe they listen to Alex Jones or Joe Rogan or some of these other, whatever. It's not, you're not going to get the truth that way. And when it comes to the Neptune and Piscean energy, that, this is the point. We've got one point down here. We've got the rudder with the moon, and then we've got the point at, and as the moon moves 1 degree, we're moving towards the moon opposing Neptune. So this is in the beginning of the week, just starting. This will be, or week. What am I saying? The beginning of the day. This is the moon. It moves. It moves 1 degree every 2 hours. So something will be brewing today that will come to a head when we have this exact opposition. And what I'm seeing here is an opportunity to get some facts and then get out of victimhood and take self-responsibility. Here's the opportunity. Coming from Pluto, with the sextile to Pluto, and coming from Uranus, here's the point of the kite that says you have quite an opportunity. Everyone has an opportunity to connect into source energy and ask for the truth. We all have a higher self, no matter how deeply it's buried inside, and you don't think that some people even have a soul. Well, they do. We all have a soul, we all have a higher self, we all have a mask self, and we all have a lower self. And it just depends on how clear. If your soul is clear, your spirit shines through. And, that's pretty much the evolutionary journey of the soul. But some people, for lifetimes on end, are, well, who knows how many are just reincarnated slave masters. And that's really what's going on. And we're all just, trying to teach them that, no, that's not the way to go. You lost the Civil War, remember? So, Mitch McConnell's in there, right? Samuel Alito, Clarence Thomas. I don't really know if Kavanaugh's in there, but he's definitely a useful idiot. So, okay, anyway, there are, with Uranus trining Pluto, with Neptune sextiling Pluto, and Uranus sextiling Neptune, we have so many opportunities to quickly become aware. And like the light bulb, that turns on and it's like, whoa. Or finally deciding to look in that closet and you need to clean it out. And it's like once you turn the lights on in there, you're realizing, whoa, this is a mess, right? The closet of the GOP. So the light is shining here. The light's going to continue to shine more and more deeply with the sun in Scorpio. And there you go. So, okay, so you can see that kite there. And then can you also see the water trine here, or I'm sorry, the earth trine here that the moon is forming? That's part of the kite, okay? Like if you let go of the sextile and trine over here and just go, well, this one you're still seeing. And then the moon to Uranus. So there's the awareness, the facts coming in, the awareness there. So no matter what it is, even if you don't care anything at all about politics, this is a really, really good time to get all the facts together that are useful so that you can discern. This is the moon in the later degrees of Virgo, so that you can discern the right way to go, which will empower you and which will create more safety and usefulness with a double trine going on. So there's something this morning that can be really, really useful with any project that you have, and can bring through more freedom, more intuition, more invention, more originality, all the good things that Uranus can bring through. And you can see the aspect of the architect over here. So from Mars to Uranus to Pluto, that all works as well. This could be deciding to, well, maybe you decided quite a while ago, but maybe finally things are coming together in a very useful way with working at home, working from home, or being self-employed, right? Capricorn and Pluto in Capricorn is really good for self-employment. Mars in Cancer is really good from working at home. With the sextile to Uranus, all that creates freedom to make money the way that is best for you. And then Mars up to Mercury. There you go with Mercury. Well, yeah, Mercury's going to keep moving. I don't know how tight it'll get, because Mars is going to be into Leo pretty soon. But for now, this is good. This is fast-moving energy that can bring through more sales. Mercury rules sales, transactions, things like that, if you happen to have a business like that. Yeah, okay, so that looks good there. Let me bring it into the tight orb so that we can focus in on the sesquisquadrates here, down to Mars and the square from Venus to Saturn. So the square from Venus to Saturn brings through maybe some challenges with money and finances, or just thinking about it in new ways so that you make new decisions. Because squares, while they seem to be challenging at first, or seem to be an obstacle, they really can be just a call for action. They can be the strength that comes from sitting kind of in the center of both of the 2 points. And with Saturn, we're talking work, we're talking tests, we're talking responsibility, and what's really, seriously important to you in your life. We're talking patience, just things that are very practical and where we're disciplined about it. Our self-responsibility, that acceptance of your responsibility. And then to Venus, we're talking money, but we're also talking women. We're talking anything that brings harmony into your life and things that bring value into your life, things that are beautiful. This could be maybe wanting to travel, but then you're thinking, oh, but wait, what about climate change? If I'm a world traveler, what is that doing to, would it really make you happy is the thing? Or is it safe nowadays with Boeing and some of the other issues going on? Or there's all the other considerations about just how challenging the whole airline industry is right now. And it costs a tremendous amount of money to travel. And maybe you're thinking of other ways that you could use that kind of cash. But on the political side, Saturn is holding up a mirror to people who just want to victimize others, especially women. And women are speaking out and saying, no, right? My body, my choice in Sag, right? Sag is all about freedom. It is about travel too. That's why I was thinking travel maybe. But and it could be for someone. It could be, just working out the bugs, or trying to figure out where to go. Maybe some people are thinking, where would I move if Trump wins? Anyway, I don't believe he will. So, but vote. You gotta vote. You know why? Because that's on your soul if you don't. That's, unless you just can't for some reason. if you just sit back and go, oh, everybody says Trump's not going to win, so it's not so important, I won't do that. It's on your soul if you don't exercise your free will. That's the truth. The truth is here about that with Jupiter and Gemini, and then Venus and Sag. Now, this can also be patriotic dogma about women and about money and who's better. I mean, it doesn't matter which organization you look at. All the economists are saying that Kamala's plan would create tremendous abundance for most people, or a lot more abundance for most people, except for the very few extremely wealthy on the planet. And Trump's would add, was it 3 trillion? I think it was 3 trillion to the deficit, just given more of the tax breaks to the wealthy. So weighing those things, right? Who's victimizing? What government figure is victimizing the people and lying, right? And who's telling the truth? I think Venus and Sag here could represent, even though, of course, Kamala is a Libra with an Aries moon, born on almost a full moon, but you could still say she has Sun opposing moon. She does. But this would be speaking up for women and the truth about how we get to a healthier place in the nation. That's Kamala. Versus Project 2025. J.D. Vance, Heritage Foundation, Citizens United, Opus Dei from way back when. That's like this whole, you can put the Vatican in there from way back when. What else? Federalist Society, Scrotus, you can put in this basket over here that just wants to victimize people, have the energy going all over the place, fractured reality, but they won't take any responsibility. They'll just sit back and act like, that no wonder Clarence Thomas just sits there so smug, right? He's had it in the bag since the beginning. So, who's gonna fight? Here's a detour with the sesquisquare here. Who's going to create a disruption to those plans that have been sitting there for quite some time, and now we all know about it, right? And then we have the other square over here from Mars to Saturn, okay? So politically, it's not good. It's not good for the man that wants to just be at the top and control everything and not have any ethics on them. No ethics reform, no ethics committees, nothing, no repercussions whatsoever. Not good. It's just not a good thing to have. So all the power, all hail to the chief, Sheldon Whitehouse, who's working hard to change that, to make those changes. And Jamie Raskin is helping him. Mark Elias is helping him. There are a lot of people on his side. Dick Durbin. I'm pretty sure Adam Schiff is in there too. So, but anyway, these are exact aspects for today. And, excuse me. On the personal level, there could be a disruption or a change in plans when it comes to maybe dealing with the past, dealing with parents. Hold on one second, I need to get some water. Okay, so Mars down here in Cancer at the point. It could be a little disruption to plans because maybe, there's something to deal with children or with elderly parents or grandchildren, just anything, in the family. And, Mars has to sometimes just take care of what it has, like what's right in front of it, right? And So whatever you have going on at home, there could be some disruptions to plans today. So I guess, be as flexible as you can. I do love the sextile coming from the moon to Mercury that I was talking about before, because that will be helpful for, and it could be that there's an opportunity, you get some new facts, and there's an opportunity to do something in a better way. And then you just kind of maybe put things off that you wanted to do around the house because you're working on this over here. It could be that. Now, Mercury with the sesquisquare here to the North Node, that again reinforces the possibility that, I'm going to take advantage of this over here, right? Maybe it's something as simple as like, I'm gonna clean out the closets, because Scorpio is really good at recycling, and Virgo really wants divine order, wants usefulness, or wants order, pretty much, right? So there could be some new level of discernment that makes you just want to get it done, and you get it done, and it creates some kind of a detour to your future, but it could be in a good way. Detours are not always bad. It's just, maybe after you do all this, like recycling from the garage or something, and cleaning out closets and organizing your closets for the winter, if you happen to live in an area where you do get the 4 seasons, depending on where you are, with the polarity, you're still going to have, if you're in the southern hemisphere, what you're moving into, you're really deeply into the summer. So hotter, right? So there's that possibility that's going on there too. Or that is going on there, that could change. That's another thing that could change your future, because when things run smoother around your home, it's easier to work, whether you work from the home or not. When things are more organized, it's easier to work no matter what you do. It's when things are not organized and you can't, well, I guess you can still be pretty organized within and not have a lot of organization around you, but it doesn't, I don't know, I think the inner reflects the outer. So maybe you would go for a few days with things pretty messy, but then later on, you get to the point, it's like, I'm just a firm believer that everything has its place. Otherwise, you can't find it when you need it, right? It's just that. So, yeah. But remember the backdrop over here, this Neptune sextiling Pluto. We just have that a little bit longer through November 9th. And that is real opportunity to be organized and have that higher divine order, which brings in more empowerment. So that's a nice thing to remember. Let's see, what else for today? With the Venus Saturn, take care of that. The Sun in conjunct the North Node is just, there's another adjustment because there's a spotlight on something. And again, with Scorpio, it might be that you're developing a deeper foundation whereupon you trust yourself. And you could be, especially with Mars in Cancer and the Sun in Scorpio, Mercury in Cancer, Mercury in Scorpio as well. There's all this water energy, plus Saturn in Pisces over here, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. That's all about, your source energy connected into spirit, your highest spiritual, your higher self, guides, guardian angels, and then your spiritual foundation here with Saturn in Pisces. It's all there for going deeper and trusting yourself. It's all there for having more psychic abilities to where you trust yourself. And it's there for moving away from crisis, for creating, a life that works for you, keeping things simple best you can. right? So that your energy's not shattered and fractured all over the place. And yeah. Okay, so I think we have Jupiter sextile. Oh, yeah, this is exact here. Look at that. Chiron to Jupiter. So there's a conversation going on here about healing that has to do with your independence. With Chiron in Aries, it's all about our independence and not abandoning ourselves, not leaving ourselves out of any equation, not giving ourselves away, but honoring, your existence, the fact that you're here, and blazing your own trail according to new things that you've learned, new ways you want to expand, especially maybe in the realm of communication. Jupiter and Gemini should be really good for communication on any level. Jupiter and Saturn are both builders of the zodiac. Jupiter goes in and expands things and opens things up. And in Gemini, that's, we're learning, we're curious, we're questioning things. We are working to, we're gathering info, and then we're working to try and be understood, right? But sometimes there's commitment problems, and I think that might be why we have that sesquisquadrate over here from the sun. Maybe some new light is shed on something, and it's like, whoa, I didn't think that person was like that, and now you know. And so there's maybe a little detour, because it all depends on what the issue is, right? Like you don't have business partnerships with anybody that you know is not trustworthy with money. And yeah. You can apply that to many different areas. So, okay, so let's go ahead and go to Tuesday. Tuesday, we have, no matter what time you get up in the morning, I think the moon hits Libra at 1 something in the morning on Tuesday, if I remember correctly. No, 12:30 a.m. Pacific time. So the moon in Libra really changes the mood. The moon is the mood. So we will be feeling more sociable. We won't be wanting to be as detail-oriented. We maybe won't care if things get a little messy, but because it's more about sharing, it's more, and then again, balancing things out. But Libra is really connected to beauty. Libra is ruled by Venus. So there's that possibility that it does create more beauty. Now, Libra is also one of our artistic signs. So maybe if you've had a lot of art projects going on, and you've been working hard on them. Now, I have no judgment about what art is, so this could be art of any type. It could be the invisible intuitive arts. But whatever it is, after all of, the 2.5 days with the moon in Virgo, there's been some usefulness, I would think, that would have come through. This would be like our, 8 of Pentacles, worky card. And then when the moon moves to Libra, we're ready to share. We're ready to relate to other people and engage, so that there's more opportunities. And it also, the moon in Libra can be the opportunity to reflect on yourself, more self-reflection. Now, and so can when the moon's in Virgo, that's for darn sure. Now, with the South Node, the moon approaching the South Node, as it crosses over, as it gets close to and then crosses over, this is all good for diving into the past, relationships as to the past. The moon likes to connect to something. So it could be connecting to relationships of the past, or it could be just our emotional, daily type of Well, our emotional response, but then how that works into our because the moon has to do a lot of times with just like the daily little things that we do. And since it's just come off of Virgo, I think that flavor's kind of still there, you know. So it's possible that we're just in that realm of getting things in a much more balanced perspective and balancing things out and making things more beautiful and all of that. Now, on the political level, this is really good for figuring out who's been, what dirty deeds done dirt cheap happened in the past. Because again, the moon rules the past, South Node rules the past, Libra rules justice and fairness and equality, and injustice as well. So there's that. The moon, because it's connected to, conjunct the South Node, is also opposing the North Node. So whatever information comes out from the public today will shift some perspectives. Again, maybe more people will not vote for Trump. I mean, to have General Milley and General Kelly come out, and you could hear with General Kelly, you could hear the, I remember watching him roll his eyes all the time, but when you hear his voice and, that interview, that's pretty damning. If people are listening, the information's there. But I'm thinking that more people will be listening because this is engaging here. So this is perfect to have this week before the election. And we always do have the moon move, into Libra, Scorpio before the election, but it doesn't always conjunct the South Node of the past. So, okay. Mars trine still there. Okay, all that's the same. This is the same. Let's see. Let me go through some hours real quickly just to give you something for the afternoon. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. Pacific before the moon starts separating from the South Node. More news coming out, I think. 24, 28 there. That's 8 p.m. Oops. 6 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, the sun still with that quincunx to the North Node. Yeah, I think it's just more of the same. I really do believe there's more news. Now, with Mars over here, with the in conjunct, when did that start? That Mars to Saturn, that's pretty much something there. Oh, it's still... Oh, it was there all morning. I just didn't notice it. This is important. Okay. No matter what time you get up and it lasts. Looks like it lasts. Does it last all day? That's 11. That's 10 p.m. Dang. Yeah, okay. So this is important here. So this angle brings through... Saturn can kind of be like a wall that sits there. And Mars... And look how Mars is at 28 degrees. That's getting pretty darn, that's we could call that the anaretic degree too. It's real close. So things are more intense as to safety, security, and the family. And information about the past coming, because Mars moves energy, so the past will be coming out. And then there's that detour. More people taking self-responsibility, I would think. That's interesting. All of this. So we got to remember, Rudy Giuliani had he lost his New York apartment. He lost everything except his watch that his grandfather gave him, and it was given to Shay Moss and Ruby Freeman because of for their defamation lawsuit that they won. Because he put their lives through hell. Well, Rudy Giuliani has his South Node I'm pretty sure it's 28 degrees of Pluto. 28 or 29, I can't remember. Might even be 27. I can't remember. I'm not going to bother to grab his chart. But anyway, so Pluto did its threefold phase, retrogradation and all that, over his south node. South node is the past lives, karma, right? And not only was Pluto on his south node, Mars would have been on his north node. And so there's that movement, moving him out of his house, out of his home, and giving it to someone else. And talk about a detour, all these transits going on are in Rudy's chart, right? So if we flip it around, like this would be at the bottom, this would be up here, it is midheaven, right? Or no, I think it's fourth. I think it's more in the fourth, not right down here, but still 4th to the 10th. I'm pretty sure. It's like, dang, don't make me bust out his chart. Let's go to Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday looks a lot like Tuesday. The moon is at 14 degrees. We are in the frick around and find out phase of Libra. On the public emotional level, I think there's more of an opportunity to go towards the feminine vote, to go towards Kamala, to go towards protecting the feminine. We still have Mars opposing Pluto. We just don't have the exact there, but we do have Mercury opposing Uranus exactly. This is at 4 a.m. So first thing in the morning, there could be something that comes through in the news that is pretty intense to witness. With Uranus being so disruptive, and in Taurus, well, this could be. I hope it's not some kind of an earthquake. I hope it's more just political. But we are learning things. I mean, North Korea has sent like 3,000 troops to Russia to be trained. I hope if they ever have to go to Ukraine, I hope they just surrender to the Ukrainian army and say, we'll work for you. If they could speak Ukrainian or Russian, they, of course not. But they're being trained. That's been validated in the news this morning. So that's pretty scary. But there might be more news that comes out about that because this is, intense. It could be a sex scandal that comes out as well. Remember? This has been building all week, and now here it is, Wednesday morning. It could break on Tuesday night. And that could give other people the opportunity, especially women. Something comes out bad enough, some women will shift. As long as they're looking and they want to, if they're open. There's that possibility. But Mercury in conjunct Eris, there's another factor that brings in courage for women and their independence. The Mars sesquisquare Saturn is still there. All the other ones are the same. Let's see, Wednesday. Hold on. Let me go one more hour. With that, I'm looking at that Moon to Venus. Yeah, that's okay. That's good. That's still there. All right. This little semi-square here to Pluto. Now that's interesting because the semi-squares bring through sometimes some indecision, sometimes just some friction to the man, right? From the feminine to the man. This is good for news, for something coming out in the news. That's the way I see it. Let me go forward with let's get into the afternoon. And the moon trine Jupiter at 2 p.m. That's excellent. Yeah. This is really good when it comes to, and this will last a little all through the rest of the, it's approaching now very strongly, and for the next several, into the rest of the afternoon, I would say, into the evening. We would have more opportunities to share information and learn from each other. And it does fill in, that aspect of the architect when it comes to independence. Again, because we have independence over here, learning and connecting and gathering information and sharing over here. That's very good. If you have plans for teaching or learning or coming together, on a webinar or something like that, or any type of a, big old platform, that'll be good. Great afternoon for it. So let's see. Yeah. And then it's probably exact, around 3 and after, even 4. Yeah, and then it starts waning after 5. So that's good there. Okay, Thursday, happy Halloween, happy Samhain, I don't know how to say it, but it's Celtic. And then, of course, tomorrow will be All Saints' Day, but it's the Scorpio moon that we have at 10:30, but leading up to the new moon, notice how 27 degrees, we're in that ladder, the third decan, and with the sesquisquadrate to Saturn, there's a detour or disruption to some plans. Coming from the moon to Saturn, now this could work out one way, it could work out a couple of different ways or more. It could be so many ways that I don't even think of. But because Mars has been in this sesquisquare, the disruption here, I think, is to people in the government trying to control women and the family. And then, because that's there. But now that the moon comes in, there's even more feminine power and more, even though Libra is not a feminine sign, but it's still, it's a sign that's, it's a relationship-oriented sign. That's all about stimulating relationship. And, it's all about trying to find the balance point, but it's most of all about partnerships and fairness and decisions. And Libra does not like not being treated equally. And Libra hates coming up against injustice. So there could be, because of things coming out on the news, that there's a pivot point or a detour away from any government position, these spokespeople for Trump. This could be, any down ballot Republican, opponent. So that's not good for them. And I like seeing that. It looks to me like things are set up for trying to create justice, fairness, and equality. Yes, here we are in the Milky Way. Things are in a specific pattern, in a holding pattern for us to wake up, smell the cat box, clean it up, right? Let's see. Mercury trine Neptune. Now that's interesting. So, again, and Mercury, look, it's at 26 degrees, and it's been opposing Uranus, so there's the wake-up possibility. This is also really good for intuition and really good for invention. Mercury-Uranus contacts are good for all of those things. And with the trine to Neptune, there's that, that water, that flow, that watery flow of intuition. And Pisces I like to look at as the sign that's open to all possibilities. And with the connection up to Mercury hitting the mind, this is good for meditation first thing in the morning. This is really good for meditation. This is also, both of these aspects here are really, really good for dreamtime guidance. So anyway, let's go. Let me get you to the new moon here. There's 10 a.m. almost. Oh, right before. Yeah, look at that T-square going on between the moon, Pluto, and Mars. Okay, so right before the new moon, we have this, this, with the moon being at this apex point here, it's really heating up in the realms of justice, fairness, and equality, and the movement towards safety, and seeing that there's only one party where we're safe. We're moving towards a dictator, fascist. We're moving towards like Mussolini. On the GOP side. So there we are with another, pivot point. Decisions. Okay, let's go one more hour. There we are. So actually the Scorpio moon was about 10:30, 10:31, something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, here's our new moon, or the moon moving in. Oh wait, it can't be 10:30. Moon conjunct Sun, 5:47 a.m. That doesn't make sense. Something's not right. Hold on. Because the moon here is only at 0 degrees, we need to get it to 8. Maybe my little ephemeris was off up here, because I'm not like, I've got an ephemeris over here, but there's an ephemeris in the program. And this is the one I trust because it's updated. I don't trust the printed one. There's the moon 3 sign. Now, maybe I have the day wrong. Oh yeah, I do. That's right. Okay. Oh yeah, right there. Let's just go to Friday. Anyway, prior to that, I hope you guys have a really happy Halloween. Friday, new moon, Scorpio new moon, 5:47 a.m. I had the days off. 9 degrees of Scorpio. Okay, so the configuration here is really good for, and look at how we have the exact, pretty much, within a half an hour, we have the exact opposition between Mars and Pluto. So this is intense. But November 1st, first thing in the morning, unless you're on Eastern or Atlantic time, with the conjunction of the moon and the sun, this is our time for setting intentions. And in Scorpio, it might be about trusting yourself more. It might be about transforming something in your life. It might be about plans to prevent crisis in your life. It may be about maybe sharing things with somebody that you trust, that can support you, or maybe you receive someone else's, soul heart connection, and you hold that space for them. But there's something about going deep when it comes to Scorpio. Now, granted, we're in that first decan, so this is developing a foundation. So developing a foundation of trust, developing a foundation where you trust yourself more and your psychic abilities, your intuition, and there's somebody that you can share with, so there's more intimacy. Sometimes the thing with Scorpio is that we don't go deep enough, or there's the fear of betrayal. So those are all, those are things that are on the table to consider. There's that possibility. But like I said, if you go slow, you take your time in relationships, you'll know whether or not somebody's trustworthy and in what ways they are and what ways they aren't. Yeah. And you can see the double trine going on from Mercury to Mars. That's exact. Mercury's now like right in there, even one more degree. So now we have the approaching exact trine from Mercury to Mars. So again, Mercury is communication and the way we connect the dots, the way we articulate our communications to other people. And with a connection from Mars, it's all about safety, security. And then also, this can be a lot of really, I would say, spiritual talks that could go deep, because maybe you understand yourself better on the deeper levels, because of, Mars moves energy. It will move you. And in Cancer, it brings you back home to yourself. And then, we've got the connection up here. The aha moments can come through here. And especially coming from Neptune, we've got our guides and our guardian angels and our higher self. It's all within us. All of this is already within us. It's not like it's out there. And the universe is within us. So all of these transits are going on within us. We are all changing by the fact that we decided to come here, to planet Earth, this Earth school, in order to grow, in order to work out our dualistic splits, our dualities, and we're here together. It's actually a really beautiful thing. But it's not always so fun, right? Sometimes being human is hard. Oh, I can understand why people want to escape. Okay, so those other aspects are the same. Let me bring in the standard aspects, and you can see a little bit more. We do have that kite going on here, and there is still within orb. It's waning, coming off of Neptune and approaching to Mercury. So this is the stronger side of it. But Mars is the tail of the kite here, right? And Pluto's the point. But Mars is moving all that energy. Look how many days, we're just, 4 days away from the election. A lot of people have already, the early voting has, Democrats always vote earlier. But record numbers. We are breaking records because we're wanting security here. Now, the dark side of this is people wanting control. The dark side of Mars in Cancer has to do with, Mars in Cancer plus Venus in Sag. The dark side of all of that is religious dogma and patriotic dogma. Belief systems that are not in alignment with, belief systems that are just all about money and that's all. So that's out there. That's going on. And we still, we've been having for quite some time, and that will continue on as well, as the square from Eris. Remember, the feminine counterpart to Mars and Pluto that is stronger than Pluto. Of course, Pluto's stronger than Mars. But Mars keeps going around, right? Keeps moving energy. So we can't negate any of this. But Eris here you know, she takes 556 to 58 years to get around the zodiac. So we were all born. Eris moved into Aries in 1926 and will remain until 2048. So Eris in Aries, we could safely say, is all about trusting our instincts and moving forward towards our independence and asserting our unique individuality. And of course, Pluto here squaring that are these decisions as to who do you want to empower in the government, being in Capricorn, and who would take your power away if you let them. Right? It's all about that. Venus still squaring Saturn, even though it's a waning aspect, it's still there. So yeah, okay, let's go back to the tight orb and go to Saturday. And now we have Saturday. This is at 12:18 p.m. Saturday, November 2nd, we have Mercury newly into Sag. So now we're talking about freedom. Now we're speaking up. Now we're talking about what we believe. Now we're talking about what matters to us. Do we believe what's coming out of some of these politicians' mouths or not? And the vote, you know, it's heating up. That we're closer and closer to the vote. And the moon this morning is in the third decan of Scorpio, so it's really getting deeply intense. With Mercury in this aspect of the architect from Mars to Pluto, yeah, it's just, you know, of course it's all about the election. If it's not and you don't care about politics, the way this would play out would be talking more about what you believe in. It might have to do with thinking about travel. It might have to do more with thinking about your path, your life path, and what inspires you. You might be thinking more about like searching for meaning in your life, and in ways that you can expand your opportunities. And with the energy, or with the fast-moving flow of energy coming off of Mars, there's a lot of energy to do that. So Sag is fiery. It's a fire sign, but it's a mutable fire sign. So you have to kind of control that, you know, the quiver or the arrow, right? And down here with Mars and Sag, or I'm sorry, Mars in Cancer. This is good in the fact, or in the sense that it's more sensitive, but this is cardinal energy down here, and Mars moves energy. Cardinal energy moves. This is a lot of movement here, and there's movement up here. You just have to decide where you want, you know, where do you want to shoot your arrow. What inspires you? Where do you want to go? Will it bring more empowerment to you? That's the question there. Yeah. Okay, and then also the moon is, we have a quincunx coming down to Eris from the moon. So there again, there's that intense energy that makes an adjustment based on independence. This looks good for, this looks really good for the vote, for the feminine vote. Okay, Sunday, we have the moon now has come into, this is 3:37 a.m. and this is because I wanted to get the moon in Sag, and then the Mars Pluto exact 29:45, 29:45. Okay. That's intense. And it's Sunday. Try not to get in any fights in the morning, especially. Or if you've been having trouble with a family member, things will come to a head. Or maybe there's a breakthrough Sunday morning. I would prefer that. You can see Venus has moved a little further on, and we now have an exact opposition to Jupiter. So again, what do we believe? What are we learning? How do we want to grow? What are we curious about learning? And there's a lot of women that would support you on your path. There are a lot of like-minded people who are in harmony, men and women who are in harmony with finding the truth and talking about the truth. This is also good for expanding operations financially. Making a decision, there could be confrontations about it, but then a breakthrough. The moon on the other side of Mercury, that's just more and more about the public talking about politics and the direction that they want to go. Yeah. And this, like I said, up here, 7:25 a.m., we have the exact opposition from Jupiter to Venus. So this is really good for the feminine, the female vote, and learning all about it. Inspiration, learning more and more about the position that we are sitting in and which direction we want to go, and then the support to go in that direction. And then the aspect of the architect coming off of Venus to Chiron to Jupiter, healing independence, healing through finding your independence. That's what I'm getting there. And the quest, Sag, quest for independence, Aries. And expanding by speaking up and through connection, communication with each other. The Sun, with the sesquisquare to Neptune, there are detours here because maybe somebody wakes up, with the Sun in the learning lessons phase of the sign in the second decan, 10 to 19 degrees. We have the ability to, with this connection over here, to go deeper and learn something new, and that on itself, or just the light shining from the Sun, right? I mean, it's always there. That star is always there for us. And with this sesquisquare over to Neptune, maybe there's an adjustment, a detour that's made because you realize, you know what, we really are held in this universe that is very loving and supportive. Life is for us. Who is it that said that? I think the first person that I ever heard say it was Katie Byron. Byron Katie. Why'd she do that? Why is her name backwards? Byron Katie. I think it's Byron Katie. Or is it Katie? You know what? I'm just going to check it out later because I may be messing up. But she was she had a program about finding the truth. Yeah, I don't have my phone in here to look it up, and I don't want to veer away from the chart here to go online. But I think it's Byron Katie. Yeah, she lived in Ojai when I lived up there for about 5 years, and that was cool. That was nice to have her there. But anyway, yeah, simple. It was very simple, and it was about checking out what you believed, and then because the question was always, is this true? And if you keep following that train of thought, invariably you find where your misconceptions lie and are lying to you, literally. And then when you figure that out, you can flip things around. You can flip the script. So things like that are appropriate at this time. And from Venus to Jupiter and from the Sun to Neptune, it's all about that. So let's see, is there anything else? Well, we get an extra hour of sleep because at 2 a.m. The daylight savings starts, or this clocks go back I don't know. It's daylight savings time that ends. I hope they just get rid of it altogether and not mess with it. And then, animals would not be like, I think it's time to eat. Meanwhile, the clock is right. I mean, help the critters out, man. You got to help out the critters. Let's see. Let me go forward because this is so darn early in the morning. Let's go forward around 8:30. Yeah. We have Venus trining Chiron. This is good for healing. The moon is trining the north node. This is good for that movement towards the future, especially with the moon on the other side of Mercury. This is all just really, really good for the vote. Yeah. Okay, let's go a little further. The moon sextile the south node. Maybe this is like the joy of relationship when you get to tell your friend, I voted. Everybody keeps telling me, I keep getting those comments, I voted, I feel so much better, right? Because that is exercising your free will. That's what we're here for. And be so grateful that we can. Be so grateful that we can vote. Because if you vote for Trump, that could be taken away. The next 4 years could be hell. Could be just hell. We don't need to create that. We need to watch him sit in jail, prison. So, but look at this aspect of the architect coming from the moon. Now, this is at 8:37 in the morning from the south node, connecting to the mood being the mood of the public thinking about the path that they're on and what they aspire towards and what inspires them. And it's all about Kamala. and then that fast flow of energy that shifts the future towards independence, right? Over here we're dealing with injustice versus justice. Over here we're dealing with independence versus being left out, being not having any, basically our existence, right? So I'm going to predict that, you guys are going to laugh. It's like, shut up, just turn this off. I'm going to predict that there will be record numbers of voters, maybe voting privately at home and mailing them in or dropping them off at the boxes or taking them right, like I'm going to do, is take it right into the elector's office. And because this Venus-Jupiter expansion going on here and all this inspiration with Sag, we now have a stellium in Sag. Sag being politics, freedom, faith, speaking up, putting your vote out there. Okay, so now I am done. Thanks, you guys, for listening. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Happy Halloween, Samhain, and All Saints Day. And remember, set your intentions. Get them going for next month. Okay, bye.